Yeah, I'm just put.
For the record, I'm done trying to make y'all comfortable. For the record, you ain't trying to grow, then it's done for you. For the record, lab on me going all the way. For the record, ain't trying to link, no time to waste. For the record, for the record, for the record, for the record.
All right, man. Welcome to the Homeland Daily, episode 57. We call today, of course, Entrepreneur Thursdays. We're always pushing the culture forward. My name is Dane, and I want to thank you for being a part of the show as you make your way in. Listen, we just want to thank you for being a part of what we're creating here. Let me introduce the panel and the host of the show tonight. Joining with me, we got Liz Charles, based in New York City right now, filmmaker, entrepreneur, and just the wise wisdom, full of wisdom woman, man. So thank you, Liz, for being here with us tonight. I know yesterday was a busy day for you, so we want to thank you for being a part of the show tonight, man. How was it? How was your day yesterday?
I feel like you guys are increasingly seeing this background.
Yeah, a lot more. Yeah,
that's an indication. So I just getting through some things. You know what I'm really trying to do? I'm really trying to figure out what the Cayman government is trying to do with this airport reopen time. If September 1st is going to happen.
What do you think? I'm gonna ask Rico this too, but what do you think? Like, do you think by the looks of it, especially in Florida, do you think that we're gonna open back up in September 1st?
I don't. I would love it, but I don't think it's gonna happen.
Nah, I think more like October. I think it's gonna be like I think there at some point our government is gonna have to be forced to do October. September is kind of like, we can make it slide. But then October is like, yeah, we got to open up the borders in October. But moving on to Rico Rolando, he is our third host, man, singer, songwriter, and producer and entrepreneur. Rico, what is up? Sure. I guess I'll ask you that same question, bro.
I mean, for me right now, I just actually came from Tilly's. Shout out Tilly's. They have the best atmosphere in Cayman. So shout you guys out. I had a wonderful lunch there. And I'm just kind of want, Liz to come to Cayman so we can all have a nice joint party. That'd be dope.
Yeah, I can't wait for Liz to come. All of us is gonna really do something really huge when she gets down. I think we're ready thinking about what the plans and everything is gonna be. Am I loud enough too? By the way, guys, am I coming in loud enough? Okay,
I
good.
can hear you. How was your day? Tell us, Dane.
It's gotten a lot busier. Like I was telling Rico yesterday, it just kind of feels like we don't have anything called COVID here. And we're just living a normal life again, besides going everywhere and having to wear your mask. That's
amazing. That's such a blessing.
Yeah, it is. You know what? It definitely is. That's a perfect word to use. It is a blessing. So I can't complain about it. But the work just came boom. I was wondering how that was going to come in. Was it going to be slow pace, piece by piece? But no, it just showed up.
That's good too. That's also quite good too. I mean, it's jarring for your body. And I think for a lot of people, that's what their experience, where it's back to life. And there's no easing back into it. Yeah. But at the same time, it's also kind of all right, well, this is what we wanted. So here it is.
Absolutely. So, I mean, it feels good, but I think we're just missing the next step. We're just missing that one step on what is it going to look like in September 1st, because I'm not trying to sound ungrateful, but we need, just like how you want to be here, Liz, I'm pretty sure there's tons of Caymanians that just want to break. They just want to go somewhere else. But keeping in mind also, I did hear a lot of people say, hey, it's kind of like a double-edged sword, because I don't know if I will even hop on an airplane if it opens back up, because
I'm kind of terrified of being on an airplane, to be entirely honest, right? Because you got to do the shields and the whole
shit. Yeah, man. So it's kind of weird right now, but we'll see what happens. But your favorite part of the show, guys, as we jump into your entertainment report right now, I'm pretty sure this is going to be dope. Rico, what you got for us, man?
Yeah, so you guys, we're gonna continue the story that we've been watching all week. So if you guys haven't heard Tory Lanez, so he was inside the car with Megan Thee Stallion after they were at Kylie Jenner's house, and it was Tory Lanez, it was Megan Thee Stallion, it was Megan Thee Stallion's best friend. So now sources are saying that Tory Lanez shot Megan Thee Stallion in the foot while inside of the car. They're saying it's something to do with abuse, allegedly. So we're gonna keep watching that story, but to be honest, as well as like Kylie Jenner kind of got herself in the middle because she was on live with Megan Thee Stallion probably 2 hours before that, and then all of a sudden Megan's stepping out the back seat of a SUV with a bloody foot, and she was completely naked, guys, inside the car. So we're gonna keep following that story just to see what's going on. But what are your guys' thoughts so far on
She
this?
was completely naked in the car.
He was completely naked inside the car. You can see her getting out of the car with just a bloody foot, completely naked. Is her best friend, and it was Tory Lanez inside the car, and it was definitely Tory Lanez that shot Megan Thee Stallion.
Who was naked in the car?
Megan Thee Stallion was naked in the SUV, and the police pulled them over. Megan Thee Stallion was screaming from inside the car. She got out first. She was the first person out of the car. She was completely naked in the car, and this was maybe 3 hours prior to that. They were hanging out with Kylie Jenner, where Megan Thee Stallion went live with Kylie inside the pool. So we're gonna keep following that story. But to me, Tory Lanez is in a lot of trouble. Tory Lanez is
Well,
gonna be in a lot of trouble.
first of all, this was coming. I don't know if anybody else saw it. If I said anything, I would have been classed as a hater. But you
Mm.
could always see that Tory Lanez was just heading down a very
Yo,
destructive path.
yes,
Like
yes.
it was easy to see. But I didn't want to say anything because I don't want to get that standpoint. Oh, you were a hater, Dane. Why are you saying that about an artist that's doing really good? So I just left it alone, and I kind of was like, we'll see what happens. I could be wrong, but he just, man, that's sad. These rappers are literally, they're getting an opportunity of a lifetime, and they're literally just like, excuse my French, but pissing it away. Like that doesn't make any sense. It's just horrible. It's and you're right, Rico. This is gonna get his career. This is gonna push his career all the way back.
Yep, for sure. Liz, what are your thoughts on this?
Kanye has a lyric in Jesus Walks, and it says, "You rappers are role models. You rap, you don't think." Like,
Mm.
my dude, what?
Yep.
What?
So to come to her defense, Megan Thee Stallion's producer, one of her longtime friends, Lil Juju on the beat, he tweeted and then got deleted right away. He said, "Tory Lanez, count your effing blessings." Along with, he tweeted, "I hope y'all don't believe he was defending her. This is a BS story." So we're gonna keep watching this. I don't know if they were together or what happened, and then all of a sudden, but Tory Lanez just has like that look to me of just like he's willing to do anything to make sure that he remains at the top. So we're gonna keep following that story just to see what's happening. But switching things up completely, let's talk about Kanye West. So Kanye West is on and off about the presidential 2020 election that's coming up. 1 minute he's saying that he's in, and next minute he's not. But sources are saying now that he's filed all of the requirements to become president-elect, hopefully for 2020. But we're gonna keep following that story as well. But what do you guys think of this? Because Kanye's always back and forth, like with choose. I mean, can he really be the 2020 president?
Didn't he
Absolutely.
cancel this like a day ago?
Exactly. And then 2 days, he canceled it 3 days ago, and then the day after that, all of his paperwork was like completely finished.
Maybe like the paperwork was finished being processed because it was submitted back when he was still running, but he's not now still.
Oh, he's now running again. So he's now back in it. He said that all of his paperwork is now signed, sealed, and he's ready to become the next president of the United States.
Dane, get your boy. Get your boy.
Man, I'm just saying, I feel like we know where this is gonna go. I feel like we have literally found our second black president. Third black president, because Bill Clinton has to be counted in that too.
No.
So we found our third black president. We should be excited about this. This should be, listen, I think anybody can do a better job than Donald Trump right now. So let's give the man a chance. What's the worst that's gonna happen?
The worst that's gonna happen.
Buttons.
He's gonna press all the buttons just because he can. That's gonna be the worst thing. Kim Kardashian's gonna be first lady. We've all seen the inside of Kim Kardashian. All right. Do we really want to know?
That's so unnecessary. That is so unnecessary.
I just don't think. Why?
I was on this panel. I just say there's no need to slut shame Kim Kardashian. She is an entrepreneur.
Yeah, she's an entrepreneur. She's a model. We all know where she's from.
That is true, though. I'm not going to say anything because porn stars are entrepreneurs, too. So I'm not going to say anything.
Moving on, because this is about Kanye. Okay,
Yeah.
running for Kim didn't decide this. She didn't say, I want this for me. She's trying to become a lawyer. Okay, she's over here working on her law degree. Kanye's deciding, I didn't feel college dropout, but I want to become president. I don't. Y'all.
You know what? Moving on from the whole Kardashian West family, we're gonna move on to the Fenty family. So let's move on to Robin Rihanna Fenty. So she actually released some new products to her makeup line, I believe, and it's called Skins. So we're gonna see what happens, but we still don't have that album. Robin.
Wait, hold up. The name is Skins.
Rihanna Fenty Skins. Yeah. So she's coming.
You didn't realize what name that is?
Fenty Skins. No, Kim is Skims. Rihanna is Skins.
That's too close for it to not be shade. That's
you know what?
To not be shade.
But it's not. I don't think it's a whatever the thing is like the. Yeah, it's not that type of thing. It's more of like your skin, like moisturizer and all that different stuff.
Okay, all right.
So we'll have to see, but I'm still waiting on that album.
Rihanna ain't gotta give you an album. She has made it quite clear. She ain't gotta give anybody anything.
You know what? She knew COVID was coming, because I know she has the album. The album is finished. The album is done. But she knew what was happening all along. Robin got the eye. She knows exactly what's going on. So
Rihanna's smart, man. Rihanna's been for a very long time. I think Rihanna's been saying that she has an album coming, but she's been doing that, and women out there has been participating and out purchasing her makeup and her all her lines and things that she's been designing because she's creating the greatest publicity stunt that anybody has ever seen, and nobody's seen it. Nobody's seen it. Like, yo, you can't get an album? Buy my makeup. Buy my this. Buy my that. Like, it's the greatest, man. She's dope. She's dope. Honestly, I gotta give her.
We don't know what kind of deal she has, right? Let's say she has a deal where she's getting less money on music than she is on products. Right?
She definitely is. She's made her money off of non-music. Everything else that she's done is she's made her money off of her music or everything else.
So she has given music for how long? That allowed her to get her position as a celebrity, which now allows her to actually make some money on these products. And so get your money, baby.
Hey, that's what it's all about.
So happy for her, man. Like, I have nothing negative to say.
Never.
Yeah, nothing negative at all, man. I love Rihanna.
Yeah,
so that's good news.
Yes, and that is all for the entertainment report, and I'm going to hand it back over to Dave.
Yeah, man. Thank you so much for listening to the entertainment report. If you missed any part of it, don't forget you can restream it again on Spotify, YouTube, and Facebook. Just search the Homeland Daily, and you will be able to find it. Today's Entrepreneur Thursdays. Met a young man in Tampa. I got lucky to meet him. Just like I think like God kind of put people in your life, and just a very humble individual. When I started to kind of find out more about who he was, he surprised me, man, because this guy has like a very tough background, and he grew up in such a way where it was like you would think he was destined to not be an entrepreneur, but he overcame all of those situations, and he does a very unique business, but makes so much money doing it. I was shocked when I was finding out what this guy was doing and the offers out there. He's actually exclusively working for a lot of even the NFL players and a lot of the elites in the Tampa area. But I'm going to make him talk more about his business. And ladies and gentlemen, Cayman Islands, please welcome our second family, Tampa, Florida. Narada Chin is here. What up, Narada?
What up, man? What's going on?
You're still working, so you couldn't even make it to a computer or iPad. I love that, man.
Bro, I actually just got home and I just pulled up. Look, I just pulled up. I was like speeding through traffic trying to like hurry up because he was like 8:30. So, you know, like right now it's 8:41 here. So
oh man. Listen, since you're talking about time, we want to tell you how much we appreciate you for giving us the most important asset, and that's your time. So thank you for being a part of the Homeland Daily. Man, if you can run inside soon and get into some light, that would be great. Two things we don't want to happen: you to get hit by a car, and for not to see you, because we don't have any insurance. Okay.
Right.
All right, man. So we're going to start it off right now. Hopefully your internet service is good too. I heard that the United States has 5G now.
Yeah.
And moving off of the 5G thing, because that's a conspiracy waiting to happen. Narada, thank you so much for coming on to the show, like Dane said. And for those of us who aren't acquainted with you and your background, would you just really quickly give us this is what you do as an entrepreneur and why you love doing it?
Okay, so I'm originally from Jamaica and moved from Jamaica, years ago. So now I'm living in Tampa, Florida. And what I really do is like I'm a mobile detailer, but it goes like when you hear the word mobile detailer, you really think about like just washing cars, but it gets way deeper than that. What I do is more like a art form, I have this thing called like ceramic coating where you apply it to the cars like a permanent wax, like a glass shield that protects the car. And if you put dirt on it, it's like spits it off, water, it spits it off, doesn't stay wet. It's just amazing. So it's like it goes beyond like just washing cars. Like Dane said, I service like a lot of the elites in Tampa. I've been in business for about maybe 13 years. This is my 13th year.
Wow.
And I mean, the level that I've reached, I never thought that I would reach this level now, so I'm very grateful for everything,
Wow.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
And just tell us a little bit, what was your defining moment for you to not, want to stick to somebody else's, jobs that they may have had lined up for you? What made you want to become an entrepreneur?
Actually, it was it's kind of crazy situation where back in like 2006, I'm 24 at the time, and still young, and I just didn't. I got laid off. It was long story short. I got laid off, and I was really thinking about being an entrepreneur. Like everybody had the idea of like working for themselves, but I didn't really think about it. A friend of mine brought it to my attention. He was like, you got laid off, and two times in like 3 months from different jobs, and it was just so hard to find enough jobs. So he was like, you're so good at what you was doing before the dealership, so I want you to start your own thing, doing that. And I was like, that kind of makes sense. So I tried it out, and I was like, man, this is where it's at. You make your own schedule, and you meet new people every day, and I'm a people person, So in order to be a good entrepreneur, you have to be a people person. You have to know how to talk to people and interact with people, just like what you guys do right now. So and it's just and of course making the money. It's always a plus.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I like it. And then now I reached the point where like I have other details like not necessarily on the same level, not to sound cocky, but they respect me, and like like last time I had a call from a guy from California, and the other night I had a call from another guy in Hawaii that look up to me. He's like, man, I follow you on Instagram, and your work is just it's amazing, and it feels good, And I'm giving these guys like info, like tricks on doing certain things. Instead of working hard, you got to work smart sometimes, So, well, not sometimes, but all the time. But it feels really to be looked up to. And I'm only 37, about to be 37, so it feels good.
Man, what's amazing, since you were talking about money, the headline that we had in our interview segment, like we basically put a headline up. We stated that, how do you come from making possibly $4,000 a month with a company? That's usually the entry level, or probably moving up in a certain level. I think we're having a lot of noise in the background for some reason. I don't know if it's yours or ours, but we're having like a lot of feedback. Can you hear it? Can you hear us good? Narada, you there?
I can't hear nothing right.
Yeah.
Say it again.
So okay, we're gonna ask you just really quick. This is real live TV right now, we call it. We're just ask you to step out of the area right there, maybe go somewhere else where it's like it's less noise. So we're hearing like a lot of background noise for some reason. For some reason, it seems to. Okay, is it good now, Liz? Can you hear anything? Can you hear anything better?
Well, I mean, now I'm not hearing anything, but
Narada, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. All right, so we'll continue with it, man. But yeah, the headline today on the Homeland Daily about Entrepreneur Thursdays. How did one man go from being laid off twice to possibly making like a basic salary to detailing cars for $2,000 to $3,000 per car? Now, Narada, I think one of the biggest things that people have is knowing their value, is knowing how to put a price on what you're selling. How did you knew that, hey, if I'm going to detail somebody's vehicle, how do I go about charging it? How do I go about knowing my value?
Right. See, the thing is, like, when it comes to the vehicles, like, you have to approach every vehicle like completely different. Like, for example, last week I did the majority of the time I work on like a lot of high end stuff, but I appreciate all the, like, it doesn't matter what type of car it is. So last week I did a Kia. A Kia is it's a regular basic car, but that car had cloth seat, and that car was trash. So it was so bad to the point where I had to take the seats out. I took all the seats out, the driver's seat, and when I was completely done, the guy came and picked it up. And initially he was trying to negotiate. I told him, hey, this car, just to do the interior would have been $1,200. And he was like, $1,200, what? Like, I'm like, dude, you trying to sell the car and you want the car to look like it's brand new? This is how I'm gonna operate. And then once you pick this car up and I give it this key and you open the door, it's not going to be the same car anymore. So actually, when he came to pick up the car, like, you'd never believe this guy tipped me $500 on top of the $1,200 that I initially.
Wow, that's amazing.
Because I promise you, and that car is actually, I actually post a picture of the before and after on my Instagram. It's Top Shine 813 if anybody want to go check it out. But it was ridiculous. That car came out brand new. It's like a 2005 Kia or something like that, and it came out brand new.
Wow.
So like these cars are charging, like, people will probably think it's like a ridiculous price. It's charging like $2-3 on a car, but it's not really ridiculous because it's the time that I put into it. It's not like I'm making $2-3 in like 2 hours. I did a 1958 Chevy classic truck, and that truck was $5,000, but it took me almost 3 weeks. Not nonstop. I worked on maybe like 2 days nonstop, and So yeah, I mean, I put in a lot of hours on these cars. So and I also did the permanent wax, the ceramic coating on that truck. So when I took a bottle of water and emptied the bottle of water on the hood of that car, of that truck, and I showed it to the guy, he couldn't believe it. He was like, "Man, like, what is it?" And that stuff lasts for 5 years.
Wow.
It's interesting because I think what you provide is a luxury service, right? And people wouldn't usually think of car detailing is always a luxury service. That's always, but certainly your price, that's like extra luxury. And I think luxury businesses are having a harder time during COVID, generally speaking, than other companies that are basic needs. And so I wonder how COVID may have impacted your business? Because even though one can socially distance while doing what you're doing, and also people are driving more, I'm sure, in Tampa at this time, but people are also losing their jobs more. So it's kind of like I could see it affecting you on both a positive and a negative side. So I'm wondering what's the net effect been for you?
Yeah, actually, with the COVID, I think this is probably the busiest I've ever been, which is kind of crazy because I thought that it would have affected me more because like they had these restrictions on like restaurants and beaches here in Florida, but people are still like, especially right now since they opened phase 1 and phase 2, people just like living life like it's like COVID is not even around right now.
Right,
And
that's right.
I
Florida.
actually before right. Right, and then like maybe I want to say about a month ago when like everything was closed down and people was really staying home, people figured like, oh, you know what, this is the best time for me to get this guy because I stay real busy. I'm usually like booked a month ahead, so I'm like really really busy. So and I actually have like so much like well over 5,000 clients that people actually sit around and wait. Like if I take a trip to Jamaica for 2 weeks, like they'll actually sit and wait for me. It feels kind of good. I'm not gonna lie, it feels good.
So you were basically spending COVID
yeah,
like just your list of people racking up, the list of people who needed your service. That's amazing.
Right. Exactly.
All right, so I know that we're okay. So Rico is back. This is definitely technology running at its fullest tonight. I can tell you that, but we're making it work. Why don't you go ahead, Rico?
Yeah. And my next question for Narada is, what was like an experience, like one of your best experiences so far with being an entrepreneur? What was the best experience for you with your business?
I didn't hear it. So can you repeat it?
Yeah. I was just asking, what was one of your best clientele experiences so far with your entrepreneur business?
And hold on, one more time. One more time for me.
Sorry, my internet also giving me some issues as well. My question to you is, what was one of the best experiences you had so far with one of your clients?
One of the best experiences. I've been blessed with a bunch of them, man. But you know what? One time I traded some a detail for some tickets. I'm talking about some club seats for a hockey game, and I'm a football guy, and I'm a basketball guy. Basketball is my number one. It's my favorite sport. So I traded four tickets for like club seats. And I didn't know like what it all includes. The guy that actually gave me the tickets, he's like this billionaire, and he doesn't. I mean, he's like a simple guy, but his thing is his cars. So when he gave me the tickets, I didn't know like what to expect when I got there. I thought it was just like right. I knew it would have been nice seats, but I didn't know like it would have been club seats and everything is included. Like I had my own parking spot, man. This guy drive like a Ferrari and a Bentley, and I'm like driving my Infiniti, and I'm like, man, So, but it was more amazing because like I always wanted to go to a hockey game, and I actually made it to a hockey game, and it wasn't even like a regular seat, and I brought my son and two of my best friends, so it was like that night, man. I'll never forget. I hope I never have like Alzheimer's or to forget, because I hope I never forget that night, man. It was amazing.
That's amazing.
That's cool, man. Now,
like, I'm the type of person to like. I like to spread the wealth, so to have my son and my best friend there to enjoy that moment, it felt good at a hockey game. Like we were like the only young black people sitting in that section. It was kind of cool.
that's super dope. One of the things I always wanted to ask, because I think people always have different answers to this, is do you really believe as an entrepreneur you need to get into a business that you love? You have to do something that you love.
That's definitely a fact, 100%. Because if you don't love it, you're gonna treat it like a regular 9 to 5. You're not gonna really be considered an entrepreneur because when you love it, even when you're home, you're still gonna be working because it's gonna be your baby. You're gonna baby it. And then after a while, you look forward to, like, when I used to work for other people before this, I hated Mondays because, you know, you had so much fun on the weekend hanging out with your family, and then you got to go back into work on Monday, and you hate your
Yeah.
coworkers, and you know, like, you know how it gets. So like, just to wake up and look forward to like starting, like, because I always give myself like a weekly goal and a daily goal and a monthly goal and a yearly goal. So every week to hit the reset button and start all over again to do something. It's my passion, bro. Because like, once if somebody bring me, I don't know, a Rolls Royce with like a scratch in the door, and they took it to two other people and they can't get it out. And once I get that sandpaper and start sanding and then like compound it and polish it, and then like, and that customer come and pick it up, it feels good, man. Because it feels like I said, it's like an art to me. Like, I love it, you know. So it to me, it's more than just a business, man. It's like you know, in the beginning, I was like, oh yeah, I was getting paid or whatever, but now it's more like a hobby. It doesn't really feel like it's work, you know, because I love it. It's my passion. You know? So yeah.
I do actually want to ask you about the beginning, just because you mentioned that. And given your price point, I wonder how you went about in the beginning. Did you start at that price point? Because I think, you know, alluding to what Dane mentioned a little bit earlier, because like when entrepreneurs first start out, like, you know, how do they know, okay, well, I know my work is worth this value, but will people pay for that? I don't know. So how did you navigate your pricing strategies?
Well, when I first started, you know, I was driving around because I have a shop, but then I'm also like mobile. So I have that Sprinter, and I go to like people's houses, and you know, so it's very convenient. So in the beginning, you know, I had like borrowed a pickup truck, and it was like a 1980 something pickup truck, and I was just driving around. Basically, I called it a rust bucket. It was so I was driving around, you know, and I'm like giving out cards, and I'll go to the nice neighborhoods, and I would try to like put cards in the mailboxes, and you know, try to like introduce myself. But people wasn't really giving me the time of the day, even though, like, you know, I know how to dress. I'm, like I said, I'm a people person, so I know how to like what's that word I'm looking for? Like,
you're charismatic.
I know that, right. So, you know, I was doing cards for like $20. Like the details that I do now, where like I charged that guy $1,200. I was back in the day, I wasn't as good, but I was doing decent work for like $60 and something like that, and I would be spending all day. So here I am, like, you know, breaking my back, and I'm, you know, barely making $500 a week. You know, so now like it's just a blessing. Like I hung in there for a long time, and I was, you know, I was always good at saving money, but you know, I'm the type of person, like, if you own a business, you have, like I said, you have to baby it, and you have to like reinvest into the business. So I started with that truck, and then I ended up buying the next best thing at the time was like a Ford cargo van, and then, you know, the next best thing after like leveling up was like the Chevy, and now I have the Mercedes Sprinter, and it's like I'm pulling up to somebody's house that have you know, a Ferrari, and they're amazed at my van, you know. So it's kind of cool. So I came a long way, and how I end up switching, I didn't really switch from like $20 details to like $500 details. It was just like after time, you just like start buying different equipment, you start learning different tricks, you start like who does the seat belts when they're detailing the car? You never really see anybody do that. I take the seat belts out of the car and like pressure wash them and steam clean them and put them back, you know. And so like after a while doing things like that, it's just like you reach to a level where you start getting people attention. And then once you get their attention, you're like, okay, wait, this guy is nothing normal. Like, it's not, I'm telling you, it goes beyond these. It goes beyond putting soap and water on the car and rinse it off. I'm telling you, you'll be amazed. Like, I'll amaze you. Okay, like, it's amazement guaranteed.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And you know, we all always have to start at baby steps first before we can really run and pursue our dreams.
Right.
It's so amazing that you started from such a small section to now making this huge impact in Tampa. But I just would like to know, just curious as to where do you see yourself in 5 years' time? Where would you like to see the business in 5 years?
In 5 years, I think I'll probably be in China trying to clone myself so I can make more money. You know, But no, but 5 years from now, I actually see myself with probably like at least 5 to 10 vans and have like other, I can hire people now, but I have this OCD problem, man. It's hard to like bring on somebody else that's gonna
Yeah.
like put the same work out on these cars as me, So
Mhm.
13 years strong, and like I had like 1 or 2 people throughout the 13 years, but it's just not the same, It's not the same. So I have so much clients to the point where like I can't do that now, but I'm just gonna take my time and like I'm just gonna take a leap of faith and like within 5 years. And I also want like a elite shop where it's not really considered like a detail shop, more like a lounge where like they could come and you know chill and smoke cigars and and while they get in their car detailed, drink coffee or take a shot of
Oh,
I don't know, some of you guys good rum over there and something like that.
yeah, for sure.
you know
You, you
so
know,
yeah,
you know what I love, man. By the way, I heard your daughter in the background just a couple minutes ago. Was that her?
yeah,
I,
that was
I
her,
one of the things I admire about you, because I love to pay attention to stuff, is that you run this business. You get up from like super early, even during COVID. You were still kind of running it, and
oh, not to cut you off, but you know how many crap I got for like still working through,
I
I
heard,
was getting
I heard,
family and everything, man.
I heard.
But like people, like my phone was just going nuts, man. People were still wanting to get their cars done, and I was like, my schedule was so crazy that, bro, before COVID, I was already like wearing gloves and masks, so it was
Yeah, and
nothing
you're
new to me,
socially distant when
So
you're detailing anyway. Like
Yeah,
you're not near anyone.
right, because I'm working around so many chemicals that I have to wear like a mask, and I don't wear a
exactly.
mask that only cover like, my nose and my mouth. I wear
Yeah.
like a whole face thing, so
Yeah.
it's like it was nothing to me. So in detail, I feel like I'm the cleanest person in Tampa anyway, because you know. So yeah, it was. But go ahead, Dane. I didn't mean to
No,
cut you off.
no, I love that you said that too. But one of the things I love, because I think all of us need to learn it, whether you are a CEO, whether you are a sales rep, whether you are an entrepreneur, you seem to be very consistent in one thing, and you've figured out how to balance something that's very important, and that's your business and your family. Because
Right.
I watch you wake up early in the morning, show up like around 8 o'clock. You have your daughter. You always bathe her the same time, brush her teeth the same
Yeah.
time, feed her the same
All
time,
the
and
time.
put her to bed.
Yeah.
Like you're not missing from her life just being an entrepreneur. How do you balance that? Is there like a trick in that?
Listen, you see, when I came earlier, that's why I had to stay outside because like once I opened that door, she like it's her time now. So that was the thing. Like to go to
Yeah,
the bathroom, get the water ready, and
Yeah.
toothbrush, and that's so I had to stay outside for a minute. So, but it's easy, man. Like in the beginning, it wasn't because you really have to get yourself out there because you're trying to get yourself out there to be busy and to be booked out a month or
Mhm.
two ahead. So you have to go out there. You have to spend a lot of time in the field working. So after you do time, like you get that, you know how to balance it. So it's like you come home, like I'll go to the gym right now with my son before I go to bed, before I take a shower, and after bathing my daughter and come back and watch a movie with my fiance. You just know how to balance it. Because that's more important than the work itself. Because without my family, I don't have anything.
yeah.
That's
Wow,
such a beautiful sentiment.
wow.
Yeah.
Coming from a single female on the show. So question. Um, really quickly, as a Black Jamaican man living in the United States right now, in Florida right now, are you affected by the protests or just the moment that we're in right now as a society? And how has this been for you, being a Caribbean person living in Florida and having a business in Florida, being an entrepreneur as a Black man?
Yeah, I would be lying if I said it didn't affect me, but it definitely affect me. I think it actually affect people like me from the islands more because, like, growing up in Jamaica, you watch movies about like racism, and you hear about Martin Luther King and all those people, but you didn't really like get to witness it firsthand until you come to the United States of America. And the thing is, like, it's kind of you're kind of torn apart because living here you have a lot of opportunities versus like being in Jamaica. But America tends to like break your heart and then it doesn't get better. It doesn't get better at all. So I've dealt with that firsthand where like I'm driving a nice car. It could be I'm picking up a McLaren from a client and I'm driving it to the shop and I'm getting pulled because I have the top down because I'm black. So it affects me. I don't like to get into the like politics. I'm not a big politics person. Like I don't like to get into it, but because people tend to get in their feelings, and I'm more of like I'm like the young Bob Marley. I like to be happy, man. I just politics don't make people happy. They just get people angry and get in their feelings, and it's just too much to deal with. But like here in Tampa, like recently since the George Floyd stuff, I've never seen Tampa like that before, ever. Like that killing, I think it did something to every people that's not racist, black and white, because like there was like a street coming down to my house where I'm driving down the street and I didn't expect to see like, the riot, the riot police jogging down the street, and it was just like I've never seen that. Don't tell I saw that was in movies. So to actually witness that firsthand, and I'm like driving with my phone out recording the stuff, and then like later on, like an hour later, I'm home and I'm watching the news, and exactly where I was at when I saw it, they burnt down gas station.
Wow.
They ran into like champs. I mean, it was like the next day, it was bad. It was worse than it was when it was happening.
Wow.
It was bad.
Wow.
It was bad. So now like everybody's on the edge. It's not even like you're not even over it. People are not over it yet. It's still the same way. So now you're like, I'm working in like different neighborhoods like every day, most of the time. So if I'm not at the shop, so I see it. I see like this part of the hood, and I see like in the suburbs, like so I see how people act to it, and it's just like people are very tense right now, very very tense, very tense. It's bad.
Wow.
I just hate the whole situation.
That's bad,
Yeah.
man.
Same.
Yeah.
You know what? Thank you so much for actually coming on the Homeland Show, Narada. This has been such an inspirational moment for us all here on Entrepreneur Thursdays. But what is some advice that you would love to give to someone who's maybe watching, who's at a 9 to 5, who may possibly be getting fired tomorrow from their job and don't necessarily know what to do next? Give us some wise words for them to maybe see, the entrepreneur door might possibly be open for you.
Yeah. Well, what can I say, man? If you get fired, it's not a bad thing. I believe I'm like a godly person. I'm not the most spiritual person on this earth, but I believe in God. I believe that everything happens for a reason. I believe if you're driving to work tomorrow morning and you have a flat tire, God stopped you from getting to an accident further down the street. So if you're thinking about starting something, whether it's being like something simple like a nail tech or whatever it is, you got to take that leap of faith. Don't say I'm gonna do it next year, next January. Tomorrow is not promised, so you have to take a leap of faith and just do it. Just do it, because I don't know, man. You have to, and you can't give up. Once you make that first, the hardest part is like just to start it. Once you start it and get into the groove of like actually running the business, everything is just smooth sailing, man. Just like, let's put it this way. You got like a sunflower, right? And the hardest part is gonna be when you have it in that little pot. The hardest part is you're gonna have to remember to put it by the window and give it sunlight, and then give it the right amount of water. Because if you give it too much water or if you give it too much sunlight, that's it for that sunflower. It's dead.
Yeah.
So you have to know how to like baby it to the point where like, okay, now the sunflower doesn't reach a certain height, and those petals on the flower is blooming to the point where now you get that little shovel and take it and put it in your garden. Now you got a garden of more than one sunflower. There go your business growing right there.
Yeah.
That's how. Yeah.
Love that. Listen, man, Once again, thank you so much. So much gems dropped tonight, by the way. We want to thank you for being a part of the show. We have a lot of respect for you, Narada. I have so much love for you. You're one of those people that I can quickly pick up the phone and just like ask advice to. And you're one of them. Like I always told you this, like you're brother to me now. Like we're pretty much family. I met you through my brothers, so you are pretty much on that ship with us. So thank you so much for being a part of the Homeland Daily. Go and take care of your daughter, man. We'll see you again very soon.
Here she go. Nova, say hi.
Hey, Nova. Hi, Nova. Nova. Nova, I want you to have that same energy when you are 18 years old. Do not talk to any guys. Look at that smile, man.
Yeah, she's cheesing right now.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Sarah. Have a good night, man.
All right, you too, Dan. Good night, guys, and see you in November.
Yes, absolutely. We'll see you in November.
All right, cool.
That is Narada Chin, man. He is an entrepreneur and a great guy, great dad, great family, man. Can we just like, before we go, like just repeat some things that we heard before we wrap up the show? Like maybe something that sticked out in our minds that was said tonight by us or even Narada.
Yep. For sure, I think. Oh, go ahead. Sorry. I think for me, it's just him just saying, you know, having that gut instinct, where he said, you know, he got fired twice, and he knew from the heart that position he was in was not meant for him. But some people have to get pushed out of certain areas just so something else can happen and something greater. So always never have that mindset of, oh man, I'm about to get fired and I have nowhere to go. Have that positive mindset of, now I'm free. And know what's next. What's the next jump for me to take? What's the next step for me to get to another level that I want to be at in life? And that's just how you have to be constantly at all times. So I'll definitely have that message from him for sure.
I always love the idea of knowing your worth. I always, you know, it's very interesting to think about him saying, okay, well, this person has a Kia. This is probably what the value of a Kia is, a 2005 Kia, if he sells it the way it looks now. But I can charge this person $1,200 because I know that by the time I'm done with it, it's going to look brand new and he'll be able to sell it for this much. So I love the idea of knowing your worth and pricing yourself accordingly and being okay if you don't start out that way, like if you don't collect that immediately, but you still got to know it.
Absolutely. There's two things for me, right? One is simple, so I'll mention that one first, but it was what he was driving before. I think people want to start off as like the major corporation, but not okay with being in the Burger Shack location. And I think that's okay. You need to be okay with how you start, whether it be in the house, behind your computer, or behind the bed. It doesn't matter. You're an app business first, and then you turn into a major corporation across the world. Like you have stores that are flourishing everywhere. That's okay. Start that way behind the bedroom first, like in your bed. That's okay. Do that. The second one for me is exactly what Liz said. Knowing your value, whatever you put on your value, that's what you're saying to yourself. If you're saying you're only worth $5, my good sir and good ma'am, that's all you're worth. But if you say, just like the man did at Art Basel, says, I'm going to put a banana on a piece of paper and I'm going to charge you $1 million for it. And that's what you're worth. Hey, who's going to argue with that? If Rico wants to send his album for $1,200, go ahead, Rico. I don't know how long he took to do that song. So know your worth. What did you say?
Please buy it for $1,200. Please.
But you gotta have buyers. Like he knew, but he knew not to charge that immediately. You know, like he was still refining, and so he scale it.
Yes, exactly. I love that. But please, especially here in Cayman, know your worth, know your value. And the reason I say this is because there's so much of you that are going out there and you're charging like $50 to do something that takes a week, and you're complaining to people and yourself, why did I take this on? It makes no sense. Sit down, count your hours, count the time that it takes to put in, even put your light bill in there, put your gas inside there, because these are the things you need to know when you're developing your business. Like, these are taking away things out of your business. So you have to know how to put it back in. And it was, I wish I could put that on my strength, but it was a very powerful entrepreneur that told me that. He said, hey, put gas, put light, put what it takes to have one of your friends included. If he's here assisting you, put the cost in there for that too. So always remember that. And that's why this show is important, because I know there's a lot of people listening to this advice, and we're giving you advice based off of people that have actually elevated, not off of our own strength. All right. And I'm pretty sure based off of our failures too, right, Liz and Rico?
Yes. I would just like to point out one thing really quickly. And that is that Dane said sometimes, you can start but in the bedroom, and earlier in the show we were talking in the entertainment report about Kim Kardashian. And I would just like to point out that that's exactly what she did. And so a resident feminist in the group, not that I'm promoting the physical acts, but if life gives you lemons, make lemonade.
Right on. That's it. We'll see you tomorrow. That's crazy, man.
For the record, I'm done trying to make y'all comfortable. For the record, you ain't trying to grow, then it's done for you. For the record, lab on me going all the way. For the record, ain't trying to link, no time to waste. For the record, for the record, for the record, for the record, yeah.